It's cold out here, but we are still finding the farms. Today, we are at Growing Home. It's a nonprofit organization that advocates for local healthy food systems, creates green jobs, and develops innovative urban and other agriculture initiatives. In fact, they have one of their farms right out back here that they established in the middle of a residential area here in South Chicago. Let's go check it out. Because it is so cold outside, the urban farm is in these hoop houses, but they do have part of the farm that sits outside in the warmer weather. What's really great about these urban farms is they have the potential to really change communities by providing economic activity as well as local, fresh, and organic food in the middle of areas that are considered food deserts. Around here, there's frost on all of this stuff, so it's too cold to grow outside. These are not palm trees. See, I'm not lying. We're in the middle of Chicago and it really is freezing. These are little kale trees. We've got purple kale, green kale, all the frost on them. That's why we have to move into those hoop houses. We're gonna go into hoop house number 3 where they're harvesting some of this delicious produce and they're gonna bring it to tomorrow's market. They said they harvested this yesterday, but it goes to the market tomorrow too. Try it out. You don't mind. It's so good. Why doesn't everybody love this stuff? You don't mind. You don't mind. A little cold. We're gonna get out of here. And tomorrow morning, we're gonna hit the market. Then I drove through the night. Yesterday was the harvest, today it's the market. I have my shopping bag. Let's go see what local fresh produce we can bring back to the kitchen.
Back to where he came from, and I drove from the station in the pouring rain. All he left.
What's wonderful about shopping at the farmer's market is it's always a surprise what you bring home. And it's always local, fresh, and in season. What I brought home was a butternut squash, a pepper, some garlic, an onion, some fresh carrots, and spinach. So I'm gonna get creative just like you can, and we're gonna make a butternut creamy pasta sauce. And what you do is you wanna start with the butternut squash. You just wanna peel it and cube it and then steam it. I've done that ahead of time, and I set aside 1 cup of steamed cubed butternut squash and 2 cups of pureed. While you're steaming your squash, you can turn on the heat in your pot, and we're gonna start sauteing this red pepper, onion, and carrots. Now I turned the heat up a little bit. You don't even need any oil, unnecessary fats. We're gonna throw the onions in. You just gotta stir it really well and have a liquid on the side. And right now I have a veggie broth on the side that we're gonna use so that it doesn't stick to the bottom of the pan. So I threw in a couple medium carrots, 1 whole red pepper, and a half an onion. And now I'm also gonna throw in a couple cloves of garlic. We are just gonna let that saute before we do anything else to tenderize these vegetables. Now I have these all tenderized, and we are gonna add the rest of the bulk of the soup, which is the butternut squash. So I have 1 cup of cubed butternut squash. We're just gonna drop that in. And then I have 2 cups of the pureed butternut squash, and I'm just gonna squeeze that in there. That's gonna give it some bulk. Now this is gonna be pretty thick, so we wanna add a little bit of liquid. And what I'm gonna add is just 1 can of this light coconut milk. Add it to there. You can turn the heat down to about medium. We're just gonna stir that up a little bit, get it all blended before we flavor it with our spices. Right, looking good. Pretty thick. Now this is thick, this is a creamy pasta sauce, but like I said, it can be a soup. So you can thin it out with a little bit of water or a vegetable broth. What I'm gonna add to it is our flavorings. I'm gonna start with a half a cup of this nutritional yeast. And you know what? I forgot the tomatoes. We're gonna add those tomatoes first. So we're gonna blend those in. That's gonna give it a little bit more liquid. Stir it up. This is the way it goes when you're cooking on the fly. Sometimes there's stuff on the side. You just gotta remember to throw it in, right? So we have a half a cup of this nutritional yeast. Now, nutritional yeast is an inactive yeast that's a byproduct of sugarcane and beet molasses. It's considered a booster food with B vitamins, and it has a cheesy flavor to it. Often vegans or vegetarians use it for sauces or cheese making. It's just a powdery flake, and you can buy it in the bulk section or in a container. Look how yummy this looks. Again, it's a little bit thick for me, so what I'm gonna do is add just a touch of this vegetable broth, but you could use water if you want, just to get it the right thickness that I want. I'm gonna let that cook down, let the flavors blend. Also to season this, what I'm gonna add is a veggie bouillon cube. Now you don't have to use something like this. You could just use a little bit of salt, or you can use just your vegetable broth. But I'm gonna throw the cube in there, and it's okay that I threw it in whole because I'm gonna let this simmer and let the flavors blend, so it's gonna melt in there. The rest of the spice that I'm gonna add, this is just an Italian mix, but you could use basil and oregano and thyme separately, but I have the mix. Mixes are great, and what you wanna do is sort of blend this with your fingers a little bit, squish it, because what you're doing is releasing these volatile oils that make the herbs more flavorful. So I'm just gonna throw about a tablespoon of that in there and maybe a pinch of salt. And we are gonna blend that together and let that cook for 20 minutes or so, just to blend these flavors and make a delicious pasta sauce. Now our sauce is all done and the flavors are blended, and while it was simmering, I did add a little bit of spice. Today, I used a little bit of this hot chili pepper that we got from the market. While this was simmering, I did make our noodles. I do recommend a whole grain noodle, and I don't always want to use whole wheat. So today, I used a blend of corn quinoa noodle. What we're also gonna add on top is these dark leafy greens. We got spinach at the market. It's great to get your greens in, great for detox, great source of calcium and fiber, good for your immune system. We're just gonna throw those on top because the sauce will wilt them and make a delicious meal. Now we're gonna grab this sauce, put it on top. Yummy, use as little or as much as you want to. You can see how this could be a soup as well, but today it's a creamy pasta sauce. Look how beautiful that looks. Here is your dish, your creamy butternut squash sauce on top of corn quinoa noodles with spinach. I'm your farm to table foodie, Becky Bowler, and next time we'll see you in the snow.
Don't mind. Got my money from my mom.
Now that all these vegetables from the market too. You always gotta get your dark leafy greens. Darn it. Stewing my witch's brew. Taste the rainbow.